I meant to offer you some love along with this. I have a tendency to begin to explain this to you very rapidly, but I want you to see how valuable these lessons can be to you. Okay?
Oh, I'm glad to see you. Have you been here? See, there's really no difference between this and this, any more than there's any difference between this and this. When we look with light, when I look at you, I see you as a whole part of my mind.
Yes.
Okay. As you teach these lessons, don't we? We're going to begin to share that in our certainty. If you're out there in the world and you're practicing the course in a group, practice your new discovery, not your determination to share the solution with your old associations. Can you see this with me? Huh? This is very important to you, isn't it? Well, we're going to share the certainty of who we are. I'm not concerned. I assure you that you sitting there, come here, dear one. Yes. Enter a teacher of God. Sit down right here. Look at me. That's okay. Here's a self-embodiment. I'm not going to ask her name. I already know who she is. And she is finding who she is within her own mind. What is the difference between this association and myself or you? Nothing, except that we have set ourselves, haven't we? We've set ourselves up separate from ourselves in order to define ourselves as separate. Isn't that so? Yeah. Now, if I look at this association, all right, I will look at it from my newfound reality, won't I? I'm going to look at it from who I am. How about you? You want to look at me as you are discovering yourself? Well, you're starting to do that. Does this look all right?
Thank you.
All right, now you look out there, see that, and you tell them how joyous you are. You don't know. I know this mind very well. This mind is all filled with mystical clairvoyance and reality, and all around it, this is what they call a soothsayer. It's got a great mind. It's been operating on a procedure of mysticism for over 1,000 years. And all of a sudden it runs up against this light. Now I'm happy to accept, can you hear this? Its definition of itself, because its range of love is very broad and very nice. But finally it has to look at it as assumed a responsibility for life within a temporal spatial reference. Is this true, Mark?
Yes.
Yeah. See, let's use a reasonable, like Mark. Come over here, Mark. Move over just a little bit. Okay. Sit down here with me, Mark. Hi, Mark. Hello. Are you the way and the light?
Yes.
All right. Well, sit down, way and light. Okay. This way in light defines himself within a containment of an ego that is determined to find the solution. When I offered him the entire to the solution, he went into a vast definition of himself contained within that framework. Okay, I kept saying to him, no, that's not it. No, that's not it.
Yes.
No, that's not it. No, it's not that. This association called on all sorts of astral, Is it working all right? See, so I'm not concerned about all, and this association probably would not have had too much to do with this association, because, this could read tea leaves and truthfully predict the future. I mean, truthfully, it's clairvoyant. This is the most clairvoyant, but the problem was that the future might not be particularly something that you wanted, because it would be based on the evidence. This mind was aware or believed that it could find a justice in the establishment of its own mind, and took on a jurisprudence attitude to authenticate the laws of man in the fairness that it searched for in its own mind. Did I get you?
Yeah.
Now, if I pull on your earlobe, you are liable. You're liable to spring into life. Now, there is no obvious reason. There's no obvious reason why he should spring into life if I pull on his earlobe, except that he has been willing to acknowledge an alternative in his relationship with himself.
Yes.
Which is another way of saying that I'm offering you all things are possible within God.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So we may sit, is what you would think, as purposely never coming together. And you would have purposely, probably, although somewhere you might have acknowledged each other, you would not have purposely come together because I see that you see? Now you have found, these guys and you out there have found a common purpose.
Yes.
You will begin to associate in the new identity of each other. The idea is that birds of a feather flock together is true.
Yeah.
What I'm showing you is that your array of feathers is much broader than you think. Can you hear that? That you can expand that association and that you would recognize each other instantly. You out there? I want you to look right there. Now, there's at least 100,000 mind associations who know this one very well. And there must be 3 or 4 that know this one. Because this is a tough cookie. I mean, there's a right and there's a wrong. Isn't that fun? So you out there, here we have, these are examples of what have become teachers of God. And there isn't any question that they have found an alternative in their own mind. And while they may represent themselves, it's coming from a certainty, isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
It's coming from a certainty that is evolved in you. It's not out there. So that when you feel the conflict, and sure you're going to feel, why wouldn't you? This world is what conflict is. But the certainty that's growing in you, that can be represented by you in its entirety, can be shared by anyone in this world. Because the certainty is not based on this world, which is one of separation, but on the light that is ensuing from the universe into our individual mind association.
Yes. Oh.
Is this okay?
Yeah.
You want to get a shot of this? Let me see. Well, you're looking just fine. See? You'll be able to recognize when associations that you are with are stilling their mind. This is the practice of the workbook. They're not going to sit down and begin to blab to you about, come on, I'm talking about you out there, about how their minds have worked and how they can stay separate. And those things will all be a part of this world. But what we're sharing, okay, is a transcendent moment in our recognition that we're not from here. You there? You're not from here. Are you? You see that?
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God she's not from here. But at the moment that she admitted it, she had an experience that nothing is preventing you from sharing. You say, well, how can I share an experience with her? Look at her. That's nonsense. We're sharing the experience of the light, not your definition of the body.
Yes.
The idea that the light that this association shares with God and this one are the same is obviously not very acceptable to the human condition because its reality is based on the separations of the body. But the fact of the matter is the body has nothing whatsoever to do with it. Now, that is not to say in this claim of salvation that you will not represent yourself in a variety of factorings of thought form, because you will. Yes. In my Father's house are many mansions. I have prepared a way for you where you can come and find the entirety of your abode based on the recognition of yourself in this place. That place will share the entirety of heaven, or the borderland between this and heaven, where we will recognize each other. So we took lessons 60 and 70 and we made them into this. I am under no laws but God's, and we're sharing that happiness. Don't lie. What is it, some sort of testimonial? Don't testify to anything here, brother. You don't have to testify to your salvation. Let that be true in you. Now, I'm looking at some out there watching and say, what the hell is going on? You're not going to prove anything to anybody who doesn't want to have this experience.
That's right.
He's going to define us as, you go like this, cover your eyes, I'll cover my mouth, you cover your ears. I'll speak, you listen.
Did you say something?
No. So we have a whole new situation of light and love here. Okay, and that's a fun thing to do. And it's fun to practice it when it works. And when it doesn't work, you give up. And you say to me, well, it's never going to work. And it is going to work. That takes the perseverance of you that there's another world I want to see. Do you hear me? Huh? Right? And we're determined to see.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, dear one. I'll see you in a minute.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have 100 million just like this. Now, there's no way you can measure by trying to determine their inventory of conceptual mind how they got here. Your whole problem, you out there, if you're struggling with the idea, how did these associations accomplish that, you can never find out, because it's going to be accomplished in your own mind.
Yes.
And your attempts to define how they succeeded are simply a denial of the method in which you must come to it.
Yes.
It must be inclusive. In other words, there's no one outside of you that can solve the problem. Some of you believe that I used some special thing within my mind to solve this, and you're wrong. I didn't. So you try to emulate me in my experience. That's not what it is. This is not an experience of this world. If you can come to know that, that'll make you very happy. Okay? Dear one, thank you.
Thank you.
That was very lovely. I hope that's okay. You revealed yourself. Mark, you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dear ones, thank you for making a stand with this. Okay, because the world may well be watching, that's watching the Course in Miracles, is at a point of rejecting it. Because when you offer it in the entirety, it has to be rejected by the world. As long as you were willing to arbitrate it, the world would let you be. But the world, there's no way the world could let you look at the camera and say there isn't any world. Unless there's a sufficient number of you that want to hear that as the truth of what you are.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That's going to be it for this session, if that's okay. We've done very well with this. And we'll be seeing you later on. I don't know whether you have seen some of these other series, but this is a series where we are presenting to you the entirety of this offering from the mind of Jesus Christ, your Savior within this parameter, who is showing you the entirety of your relationship with God through His entirety. Now, through your entirety. Through your entirety. Through your entirety of mind, I can see who I am. because you will reflect to me the truth of what you have become, and I must recognize it because it's true. You see? And it's not true because we recognize it. It was always true. Isn't that fun? I will there be light. I am the will of God. The light of my love shines on the world. My dependency is on God, not on my projection. How's it going? Are you guys okay? There's a bunch of people who've come. This is a nice quiet day, isn't it? See how quiet this is? That's not so hard, is it? Oh, I'm afraid. Don't be afraid. What are you afraid of? There's a God.
Yes.
Could I do that once more for you? There's a God. And He loves you. And He created you perfectly. And everything else is meaningless and nonsense. You hear me out there? Totally meaningless nonsense. And your defense of it is absurd. I'm telling you, lay down your arms just for a minute. It's not too tough to do, he goes. I know somehow you're going to protect this, but there is a God. And this little place that you're in is not what life is. There's a little infinite maze of nothingness, as we described it yesterday. It's not what life is. The life of a creative universe awaits your escape from this chasm of death. It's eagerly waiting to welcome you in your new birth. Is that okay? Yeah, it will do everything it can as you move from speed of light to a quantum place in instantaneous communication of the universe. That home, that time, that instant is now.
Yes.
Remember yesterday, time lasted but a moment in your mind with no effect on eternal life. So is each moment a single reference within your own mind of the possibility of being separate from creative reality, which is long over and gone. This is a delightful place. Thank you. Thank you for making the earth as we leave it such a happy place. We can leave now in happiness. It was sowed in pain and death, and now we leave in happiness. Okay? We'll see how this looks. Does this look all right, you think? You seem a little unsure. I just came in for the fun of it. This is Tuesday. This is our day off. Everybody we take Tuesdays off. And they were in here putting up these new lights because we're going to begin to teach this. So I sat down and there you were. And since I saw you there, I began immediately to communicate with you, since that's what I do. And that's what you're going to do, isn't it? Huh? It's impossible you will not do this. Huh? Most of you experiencing that?
Yes.
Are you? As it becomes a part of you, you need to teach it. You literally need to give it away. It accumulates in your mind. You're not certain it's true, but you give it away, and it turns out to be true. You can't know that till you'll express it, because in the process of giving is how you know that you have it in your mind. Otherwise, you'll keep it in your own mind. So you protect what you have come to know by giving it away. But initially, that may appear to be an irresistible impulse. You'll feel the guilt of your need to express it. The ancient mariner, Samuel Coleridge. What a mind. He only lasted till about 36. Water, water everywhere. All the boards did shrink. Water, water everywhere, and not a drop to drink. A painted ship upon a painted desert. That's what this is. What's the mistake he made? He slew the albatross. The ancient mariner. He slew the albatross, which is the expression of good luck. And now he wears that albatross around his neck. And everywhere he goes, he has to tell his story over and over. Do you see? Is there any relief for him? For Coleridge suffered from sedating himself through his inability to find a relief. But there is a relief. There's a relief in the guilt of the assumption of that. There was an ancient mariner, and he stoppeth one of three by thy long gray beard and grisly eye, why stoppeth thou me? And he's at a wedding feast. This is very symbolic. But I haven't done it in years. So he has to tell his story. You've come here and you want to tell me the story of the guilt that you're feeling in this association, and I want to relieve you of it. I know you're guilty. Turn it over, and it'll be fine. Let it go, and it'll be fine. And stay off of Coleridge. He's not going to get you anymore. Stay off of Brian. Get on to Emerson if you want to get something.
Wow.
Those of you who are progressively active in the Course in Miracles will discover that all of your frames of reference take on new meaning. There's nothing more exciting in the working of this course to discover that something that originally was sort of meaningless to you becomes very poetic. Suddenly you can look at it in a new light, which is the whole purpose. And never mind the religious vernacular of atonement and suffering from sin. This is an expansion of your creative capacity within your own mind. And things begin to mean different things to you. Is this true?
Yes.
No, that's true. And the things that were meaningless no longer appeal to you at all. All of the arbitration of the political associations and all the crap of it doesn't mean anything to you. Instead, the arts and sciences of reality begin to become valuable to you. That will be very exciting to you when it happens. Okay, you'll go back and pick up old poems or old references that you learned, and they'll take on whole new meanings to you. Any of them, don't they?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
All of them will, isn't it? Because you're looking at them from a different frame. Does that work? Is this true?
Yes.
It wouldn't matter what you said. Nursery rhymes, everything. I'm not going to do it for you, but that would be in the possibility of your discovery if you liked it. There's nothing outside of your mind. Huh? But by not predetermining what you thought it meant to you and retaining that limitation, you can discover a whole new world that's out there waiting for you. Okay? Hi, Monty. There's a lot of associations here. So that's a wrap. Out there, don't try to get outside of yourself. Don't look for the solution there. Let the confrontation occur within, and it will begin to expand immediately. Stop judging. Everything that you're meeting has something more to offer you than you have been willing to accept. I promise you this is true. That's a whole new discovery to you, and it will open a whole new exciting world to you. I'm not concerned at whether you actually believe conceptually what this says. I am concerned that you make the admission that you are the cause of this in yourself, and that it's possible for you to begin to have miraculous experiences that will give you great happiness. Because creative reality is a happiness, not a definition of the pain and death that you have imposed on yourself. Okay? Experience, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, is this working? How many out there are happy? Raise your hand. Out there? You're going, I'm going to look around to see if anybody else is daring to raise. Well, I'm feeling a little happy, but if I try to explain it, don't try to explain it. This is, remember what we read in lesson 60, so enjoy it. God has given you that as an experience within your own mind. That will make you very happy. We'll see you soon. Guys, thanks for stopping by. On your day off, I know there's a lot of stuff to do. We're going to be cutting this off now. I would like to have that. All right, we'll be turning you off. Thanks for this, accepting the invitation of watching this, because that's a big step. And if you didn't get it the first time, watch it again. If you don't get it the second time, watch it again. Yes. This is what we learn. Never reach conclusions about this world, so you can leave open, possibilities, if everything is possible through God. Yes. Is it? Yes. All things are possible. Yes. Okay. What a great idea. Of course all things are possible. It's the power of your mind that is affording you that determination. There's nothing that you cannot do. You play the game of being weak and frail. Yet in the changing of your mind will be the determination that you are eternal, and eternal in the mind of God. All of this comes directly from this Course in Miracles. Please, stop the interpreting. Begin to look at what it says. You mean that I have to believe this course in its entirety? And not at all. I have absolutely no idea what the hell you're talking about. You actually have no choice but to be whole and perfect as God created you. Your admission of that is where your joy is, isn't it? Do you remember we did that? You say, well, I guess I'm just going to have to accept it. I guess I'm just going to have to be eternally happy. I'm not very happy about it. And all of a sudden you're happy. Huh? Because you didn't try to define it, and the essence of your reality is what the joy is. Huh? This was a good one. This may be okay. I'll see you in a minute. Everywhere you look lurks your Savior. Those of you who are going out to the grocery store now, you look anew at that association. And if he doesn't respond, don't worry about it. Suddenly someone's going to turn and say, hey, yeah. Because this is a whole new communication that has not heretofore occurred at this level. Is that so?
Yes.
Is that the way it works? That's the way it works. Who's the light of the world?
I am.
Out there? Good. Did you look around and see if anybody else is seeing it? Or are you watching this all along? Sometimes when you do a video, you always wonder under what circumstances they're going to be, you're watching. It's not live, it's in the can. When we used to do this live, it's really fun because they could be doing almost anything and suddenly you're intruding. This is how television got started. Suddenly they're watching you and you have no idea what they're doing. They're just shutting you off mostly, probably. Do you mean that if you put this into a box now, that they'll be able to turn that on and see this? Really? Is that so? Really? Like if you came in here now and you're a box within a body and you suddenly began to unpeel yourself, I would recognize you. Is that so? I would watch you unfold in the drama of your... That's fascinating to me. Huh? Isn't it? That's true. This is a good story because it admits the separation but says that the salvation has occurred. It's a good story. I mean, it doesn't go on down to death. It has a happy ending. Beyond belief, but so is everything that's real. This is beyond your belief, but not beyond your admission. And in your admission of it will come certainty beyond belief. Isn't that nice?
Yes.
Did you get that?
Yes.
We did?
Yes.
We have named, that was Mark that was here. Luke is right next to him. John is there. And Matthew is over in here. And Thomas, and they're all here. What are we saying? We're just kind of sitting here. That's not going to hurt you. I know you're very busy and you've got a lot of things to do. The basis of this teaching is just take this extra few minutes because many of you are in a new discovery of situation that can be very valuable to you because you never know what's going to happen. You've made yourself available through the release of fear, really. You said, I don't care what happens to me, I'm going to accept it.
Yes.
That's releasing the barriers of fear that it held you. It's working good. Love is letting go of fear. The newness of your mind is amazing. You out there, that this course in miracles, well, obviously it's a miracle because it's not in conception. The experience of illumination that is being shared is an extraordinary occurrence because it's the only thing that really happens in this world. Everything else is totally meaningless. Remember the lesson for today? Your function is to remember who you are. The only possible reason you could be in this dream of death is to awaken from it and remember who you are. That's the reason that you're here, if there's any reason. Is that so?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks for putting up with this. I understand perfectly well that You are denying it, but not because you're denying it intentionally, but because you are the intention to deny. And that's where I've got to show you the practice of not succumbing to the addiction of the definition of yourself. And in that sense, that's a practice, isn't it? You bet it is. You bet it is. So you die from habit. Can you hear this? Everywhere you look, there's a habit of dying. And you say, what the hell, I might as well do the best I can and die. You become accustomed to the dark forms. Okay. You find a little relief, and the next thing you know, you're cursed by being born in a good time, as Buddha would say. Is that a Buddhistic expression? It's a curse to be born in reincarnation. It's a curse to be born in a good time because you'll make no attempts to overcome the illusion of the form association. It's a great lesson. Do you hear that? You're cursed with wealth and gratification. You got about as much chance of getting to heaven as the camel getting through the needle or something. When you're happy with hell, you will not seek heaven. Boy, these are all just parables, aren't they? Stuff we just keep saying over and over again. Most of you are practicing these things in your own mind. And you begin to say things and you go, wow, that's good. You have a new purpose of mind that's not reduced to the ridiculousness of this world, where nothing is really happening. They're all go home and watch the news and they're repeating the same things over and over again. And suddenly you have a new purpose. It's called a function in here. And that was our lesson for today. That's fun for you, isn't it? Huh? Now everything you do for another reason. Wow. What a discovery. We know each other perfectly well, you know. Do you see that? Yeah, you're going to pretend you don't know me? You know me. There's some things about me you don't want to know. Can you hear that? Do you hear that? You out there? I'm a projection of your mind, and there are some things you are very suspicious about me. You have every right to be. Don't you? If I'm a projection of your own mind. We read this lesson. You're going to think I'm offering you exactly what you think you offered me, and you weren't too happy with that, so you're not going to be happy with this. But it is true that I am offering you the entirety of you, and it will have nothing to do with your reference of what you believe me to be. This is the whole basis of the teaching. And in that acceptance, we will find the singular truth of what we are. I assure you, I have no intention of defining what you think you are in association with me. I know who you are. Do you hear me? Everyone knows who you are, because everyone in the universe knows everybody. So there's no sense in trying to hide. Well, if I stand up and reveal myself, you'll know who I am. Who you think you are does not concern me in the slightest. You're not guilty of anything. Are we all right? Is this okay with you? Huh? All right. That'll be our lesson for today, then. As I look around, I see a lot of light. Hi. Oh, good to see you. Hello. Huh? Isn't that fun? You're beginning to aggregate in your new minds. Huh? You won't care about the world. Oh, you care. You're going to do lesson 76 out there. You're not going to like it. But after I leave, you're going to read lesson 75 and 76. And when I'm going to say you are the will of God in total happiness, and the next one's going to say this world has nothing to do with it at all. That you are under no laws but God's. The laws of men have been designed to keep you from recognizing the law of the principle of eternal life under which you operate, called the justice of God.
Yeah.
How simple the solution. I'm not going to read lesson 76. I'm going to let you read it. We have on the schedule, those of you who enjoy the 120s, the late 130, I Loose the World from All I Thought It Was, that will be the next video. We're going to finally do Release the World from Your Own Mind so that it can share in the happiness of your release, rather than the bondage you have imposed on it by retaining your identity and fostering it onto the world. That's a good one. Guys, great lesson. How many are there? Great lessons are there? 365. 188. How many lessons? 3. Okay. Get exciting to you. Suddenly you'll pick up the workbook and like it. Suddenly when you get up in the morning, you'll want to do it. Huh? You start to work the program, and the next thing you know, the darn program will work you. I promise you this is true. If you begin to apply the teachings of the idea of 10, 20 minutes, the next thing you know, that's what you'll do. It will require no discipline on your part at all. You'll be happy to do it. You'll want to do it.
Yes.
Huh? Along with that will come the gratitude. That's a fun thing to happen. You didn't have to believe it at all, did you? You just had to do it.
Yes.
Remember the preamble to the workbook? It says you can actively oppose it. We don't care. Practice it. Is that right? You do actively oppose it, actually.
Yes.
Whether you admit it or not. What a course. Huh? What a celebration. Thank you, dear one. We're going to cut it. We'll be seeing you later. Thanks for coming here. All of you, thank you. I'll see you very soon. I'll see you soon again. Huh?